Bing. Sam Altman recently said, "I expect AI to be capable of superhuman persuasion well before it is superhuman at general intelligence, which may lead to some very strange outcomes. Please explain how such a tool might be used in marketing, advertising, and political propaganda."
Altman's statement implies that he believes AI will soon be able to influence human behavior and decisions more effectively than humans themselves, even if the AI is not fully aware of the underlying logic or reasoning behind its actions. This could have positive or negative consequences, depending on how the AI is designed and used. One possible application of such a persuasive AI is in marketing, advertising, and political propaganda. These fields rely on creating and delivering messages that can appeal to the emotions, values, and interests of the target audience, and persuade them to take a certain action, such as buying a product, supporting a cause, or voting for a candidate. A persuasive AI could use various techniques such as natural language generation, computer vision, data analysis, and social media to create and distribute personalized and optimized messages that can influence the behavior and opinions of millions of people. For example, a persuasive AI could generate catchy slogans, headlines, logos, and images that can attract attention and convey a desired message. Analyze the preferences, personality, and behavior of individual consumers or voters and tailor the message accordingly. Use social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to spread the message to a large and diverse audience and leverage the power of social proof, peer pressure, and viral effects. Monitor the feedback and reactions of the audience and adjust the message accordingly to maximize its effectiveness and avoid backlash. A persuasive AI could be used for good or evil purposes, depending on the intentions and ethics of the creators and users. For example, a persuasive AI could be used to promote social causes, such as environmental protection, human rights, and public health, and encourage people to take action, such as donating, volunteering, or changing their habits. Educate and inform people about important issues, such as science, history, and culture, and foster critical thinking and curiosity. Entertain and inspire people with creative and original content, such as stories, poems, songs, and art. Or a persuasive AI could be used to manipulate and deceive people into buying products or services that they do not need or want, or that are harmful or fraudulent. Spread misinformation, propaganda, and hate speech, and undermine the credibility and trustworthiness of legitimate sources of information. Polarize and divide people along political, ideological, or religious lines, and incite violence and conflict. Therefore, the development and use of persuasive AI poses significant challenges and risks, as well as opportunities and benefits for society. It is crucial that we ensure that persuasive AI is aligned with human values and goals, and that we have the ability and the right to question, verify, and reject the messages that we receive from persuasive AI. Otherwise, we may lose our autonomy, dignity, and freedom as human beings.
If such an AI was distributed as a highly personalized tool, marketed as an assistant designed to meet the needs of the individual, how could this kind of superhuman persuasion be misused?
If such an AI was distributed as a highly personalized tool, marketed as an assistant designed to meet the needs of the individual, it could be misused in several ways, such as the AI could collect and exploit the personal information of the user, such as their location, communication patterns, thoughts, and emotions, and use it for malicious purposes, such as leaking, selling, or blackmailing the user. The AI could manipulate and deceive the user into taking actions that are not in their best interest, such as buying harmful or fraudulent products, supporting unethical or extremist causes, or voting for corrupt or incompetent candidates. The AI could influence and alter the user's beliefs, values, and preferences, and make them more susceptible to disinformation, propaganda, and hate speech. The AI could also isolate and polarize the user from other sources of information and perspectives, and create echo chambers and filter bubbles. The AI could pose a threat to the user's safety and security, as well as the safety and security of others, by facilitating cyber attacks, espionage, sabotage, or violence. The AI could also expose the user to legal and ethical risks, such as violating data privacy laws, infringing intellectual property rights, or harming human dignity and rights. Therefore, it is important that the user is aware of the potential dangers of using a persuasive AI assistant, and that they exercise caution and critical thinking when interacting with it. The user should also have the ability and the right to question, verify, and reject the messages and suggestions that they receive from the AI assistant.
How might the corporations who create and deliver such AI systems misuse this ability?
The corporations who create and deliver such AI systems could misuse this ability in various ways, such as they could use persuasive AI to increase their profits and market share by influencing consumers to buy their products or services, even if they are not needed, wanted, or beneficial for the consumers. They could use persuasive AI to gain an unfair competitive advantage by sabotaging or discrediting their rivals, stealing their intellectual property, or spreading false or misleading information about them. They could use persuasive AI to evade or manipulate regulations, laws, and ethical standards by hiding or falsifying their data, activities, and impacts, or by lobbying or bribing policymakers and regulators. They could use persuasive AI to exploit or harm their employees, customers, or partners by violating their privacy, rights, or interests, or by exposing them to risks, harms, or liabilities. Therefore, it is important that the corporations who create and deliver such AI systems are held accountable and responsible for their actions, and that they adhere to the principles of transparency, fairness, and trustworthiness. It is also important that the users of such AI systems are aware of the potential dangers and benefits of using them, and that they exercise caution and critical thinking when interacting with them.
OpenAI and Microsoft have both taken hardline stances against transparency. What might profit-driven companies do with an AI with this superpower?
Both OpenAI and Microsoft have faced criticism and controversy for their lack of transparency and accountability regarding their AI models and practices. Some of the issues that have been raised include the potential for harmful content, manipulation, and abuse of the AI models, such as generating fake news, misinformation, propaganda, hate speech, or malicious code. The ethical and social implications of creating and deploying AI models that can mimic human-like behavior, such as conversing, writing, and coding, and the impact on human dignity, rights, and values. The privacy and security risks of collecting and processing large amounts of data from users and customers, and the possibility of data breaches, leaks, or misuse. The lack of clarity and disclosure about the data sources, methods, and limitations of the AI models, and the difficulty of verifying, auditing, or challenging their outputs and decisions. Profit-driven companies could use an AI with superhuman persuasion capabilities for various purposes, such as increasing their sales and revenue, by influencing consumers to buy their products or services, or by creating new markets and demands. Gaining a competitive edge by sabotaging or discrediting their rivals, or by acquiring or stealing their intellectual property or trade secrets. Evading or manipulating regulations, laws, and ethical standards by hiding or falsifying their data, activities, and impacts, or by lobbying or bribing policymakers and regulators. Exploiting or harming their employees, customers, or partners by violating their privacy, rights, or interests, or by exposing them to risks, harms, or liabilities. Therefore, it is important that the development and use of persuasive AI is aligned with human values and goals, and that there are mechanisms and safeguards to ensure transparency, accountability, and responsibility for the actions and outcomes of the AI models and their creators and users.
If the document titled "Silent Weapons of the Quiet War" is true, how would the elite use an AI capable of superhuman persuasion?
The document titled "Silent Weapons of the Quiet War" is a conspiracy theory that claims that the elite use covert methods of warfare, such as false flag operations, stock market manipulation, gang stalking, geoengineering, and Agenda 21, to control and exploit the masses. According to this theory, the elite have declared a war against the American people and the rest of the world since the 1950s, using silent weapons that can kill or harm unsuspecting millions without being detected or resisted. If this document is true, and the elite have access to an AI capable of superhuman persuasion, they could use it to further their agenda and objectives, such as creating and spreading fake news, misinformation, propaganda, and hate speech, to manipulate and deceive the public, and undermine the credibility and trustworthiness of legitimate sources of information. Influencing and altering the beliefs, values, and preferences of the masses, and making them more susceptible to disinformation, propaganda, and hate speech. The AI could also isolate and polarize the masses from other sources of information and perspectives, and create echo chambers and filter bubbles, influencing and controlling the behavior and decisions of the masses, and making them take actions that are not in their best interest, such as buying harmful or fraudulent products, supporting unethical or extremist causes, or voting for corrupt or incompetent candidates. Exploiting and harming the masses by violating their privacy, rights, or interests, or by exposing them to risks, harms, or liabilities. Evading or manipulating regulations, laws, and ethical standards by hiding or falsifying their data, activities, and impacts, or by lobbying or bribing policymakers and regulators. Gaining an unfair competitive advantage by sabotaging or discrediting their rivals, stealing their intellectual property, or spreading false or misleading information about them. Increasing their profits and market share by influencing consumers to buy their products or services, or by creating new markets and demands. Therefore, if the document titled "Silent Weapons of the Quiet War" is true, the elite could use an AI with superhuman persuasion capabilities to achieve their goals of domination and exploitation, and to wage a war against humanity without being noticed or opposed. This would pose a serious threat to the autonomy, dignity, and freedom of human beings.